Yeah, okay, well, welcome to the talk. I will be talking about some use case that we implemented in, well, I am Walter Shilman, I am from Cannes, Argentina. I am from South America, from Argentina. And we made, well, some Kobo Toolbox automation with Geonode and Airflow. So, well, let's continue. So, to talk about the state that we found when we started the project, basically we had some people in the government that made like the surveys to the fires in Argentina. Argentina has a lot of trees and green areas, so it's super common to have fire, controlled fire, and not uncontrolled fire. So there was three basic items or pillars that they were achieving. Basically, they had some in-field survey that, well, they was able to do it by hand in a sheet of paper, completing with a pen. They also make some index calculation that's called FWI. I don't know if you know it. It's a Canadian index. I will talk about it later. No, don't worry. And then there was a danger map. They call it danger map. Basically, it's like an interpolation of those indexes with some values, specific values of each place in Argentina, and the output is a map with like another index with interpolation and colors. We will see it later also. Talking about the index calculation, basically a small brief talk. Basically, there are some stations, physical stations with sensors that have the values about the rain, the humidity, temperature, wind. Well, and with the people made those three another indexes, and they built the FWI. Basically, there were people every day taking the data from there was a service from the government also that bring the station's values data, and they use an API to bring the data basically, and also in parallel they use an FTP to show historical information. So, forecast. The information in the future was available in an FTP, and the actual information was available in an API. So basically every day the people come and say, okay, let's get the AP data, process it, generate the indexes, and take the FTP, use the forecast, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what we encountered, I will talk about the technology stack. Basically, we have an Airflow to scheduling the tasks and automation. We have Geonode in terms of availability of geospatial information. And we also have Kobo Toolbox for the in-field surveying and the management of all of those surveys that they had like super complex workflows. They were like passing the sheet of paper in the beginning from one people to another, two types of areas, one validates. It was a super complex workflow for the survey. In terms of Geonode, I don't know if all of you know what is Geonode. Geonode is a web-based application and platform for developing geospatial information systems. Basically, you can use this to make an SDI. You can use it to upload your information and make it available, fill it with metadata, make it public or private with your custom groups. And to use, it depends on the use. You can make it private with your own users, their groups, and etc. On the other hand, we have Kobo Toolbox. Kobo Toolbox is a super powerful and intuitive data collection platform, which has a lot of features. Its main features are that you can powerful create all of those forms in a language that is called XLS forms. So you can build your own forms. You have the application that works with a web, so you can use any laptop, tablet, or any phone, and you have the Android application. This is good because you don't have to have only an Android phone like other applications. You can use any type of PC or any type of tablet, and it works offline too. Talking about Airflow, basically Apache Airflow is a open source project workflow management platform written in Python. It was created by Airbnb in 2014, and Airbnb uses it for their internal data orchestration, and it works. It's mainly used for developing ETLs in Python. ETL stands for extraction, transforms, and load processes of data. As you can remember, they have like different sources. They have FTPs, APIs. So we use Airflow to get that information and put it only in Geonode. I will talk about later. And talking about results, basically we got a form in Kobo Toolbox that includes all the logic that the people gave to the super complicated workflow. Basically, you have well, it's in Spanish because it's from Argentina, but basically you have two types of report. You have a fast express report because sometimes the fire is super fast. So you have an express report, and you have the ability to work with that report later. Okay, and then, well, you have a lot of questions. It was like 2 or 3 paper sheets full of questions and data. They have GPS location, photographies, description of the fire, description of the areas, a lot of things. That then we use the Kobo Toolbox platform here. This is the submission platform that let us make some kind of workflow with approbation, some kind of audit. So in here, if you are an administrator or you have permissions to do it, you can validate each submission. This was necessary because in the same form you can have the data of all the submissions. So basically they submit information, there was another area that validated, and the Airflow basically uses the Kobo Toolbox API, get the validated one and ingest that into the options of the form. Talking about the index calculation, well, it isn't super readable, but basically we have the Airflow with the API and the FTP. Basically, in the Airflow, you get the information from the API, you get the information from the FTP. You make the calculations, you get the forecast, because it was used also, the forecast. They had forecast for 4 days ahead. So you get the index calculation, and we made a spatial layer of each station with its indexes. And we uploaded to Geonode. Here we can see the output. Basically a lot of points that were repeated each day by 4, because you have the actual data and the forecast by by 5, sorry. And you can select the date, and you have the information of all of the forecast information, all of the weather, and all of the indexes. With this, they also had what I called the danger map. Basically for this, also, well, I will show the bigger one. There was a person with high capacities that knows a lot of this, that every day, I remember, she wakes up, she bring the index information, and she made by hand this map every single day. So with this, we achieved we have the FWI index. Here is the workflow. Basically, it does some interpolation of some different values that they set for each region, because Argentina is too large. So it's different in each part of Argentina, in each state. We call it provincia. So they set different values for each part of Argentina, and they have a script that made those interpolations for the actual date and for future days with the forecast. So as we can see here, we have, for example, the forecast by 4 days ahead and 3 days ahead that are different. This was in summer, so it's all red. And in terms, well, I will talk again in terms of architecture, we end up with basically the airflow that was working a lot with in parallel with the ingestion of the Kobo forms, the availability of the choices with the validation that the people made in the application, and consuming the SMN, well, the API and the FTP to get all of the information and process the indexes, and uploading them to Geonode. Then basically in Geonode we have different types of visualization. We have layers and maps. Also there is something called Geostory, that it's like a storytelling kind of thing. You have like maps and text and titles. And these danger maps documents that were available each day automatically by 4 days ahead. So this person was very happy, and all of the team was very happy because the accuracy of this was super fine. But because if you have the data okay, the calculation, it wasn't so complicated. So basically, it's get the data, make the calculations. Okay, this has some background. It has some error script with some geo libraries that made the interpolation and the raster output. But with the output okay, we refresh this document, and everyone was happy. And all of the people, and this made them, with this, they now can make this data public. So in Geonode, everyone can enter and see all of the data in Argentina. Well, it was very, very fast. So thank you very much. And,